Hey there, so overeating while in quarantine. This is a question has came up for me quite a lot in the last couple of weeks with ladies reaching out to me daily who are really struggling with this. Hey guys, Lou here at Empowered Women Life, and I'm going to explore this in the next 5 minutes or so just to explain what may be going on for you. Now, as I say in every video, there's no quick fix when it comes to struggles around food. The reason for this is because we're very much emotionally rooted to food. So how is that going to affect you at the moment while you're in quarantine? So let me explain. Also, please comment #live or #replay as we go through this video. And if you have any questions, please pop them below. So one of the first things that's probably going to come to most people's heads at the moment is boredom. Many of us may be feeling understimulated. Some of us may be feeling really fed up at this point and maybe running out of things to do. But when we feel bored, now I want you to remember I said feel, and I'll tell you why that's important in a minute. When we feel bored, this is when many people reach for their devil foods. So while in quarantine, what does that mean? Well, it means that when you go to overeat, maybe ask yourself, am I hungry right now or am I just fed up? And hey Melissa, lovely to see you. And what can I go and do to overcome that boredom? So this may be a time where you may want to reflect on what things do stimulate you, what new things can you learn. We're really lucky, we could be without the internet right now, but the world is not completely shut off to us. So what can I go and do to stimulate myself, to prevent myself from overeating? Because I can probably guarantee that most people who end up overeating are probably sitting doing nothing, are probably sitting in front of the TV, and that is when the mind can let us know that, maybe I want some food because I need some sort of stimulation. But you can get stimulation somewhere else other than in food. So there's your first step. So to combat boredom, ensure that you've got plenty to do and try and stimulate yourself. Even if that means, maybe that's your one walk a day. If there's a specific time that you find you're overeating, instead of overeating, use that specific time to use that as your exercise time or a bath time or the time for you to go out and have a walk. There are so many different ways for you to stimulate yourself at the moment, and it's about being creative. And I keep saying this, that there's a bigger learning for us all at the moment, and one of those bigger learnings is that we can become more creative while we are at home. So one of those things is go and find more stimulating activities, replace with eating. When you think you're going to overeat, ask yourself, am I actually in boredom at the moment? What can I do instead? There are various techniques that I use with clients when this doesn't work. This is just one small step, and it's easier said than done. Now, as I said at the beginning, we're emotionally rooted to food, and what that means is we very much eat who we are. So how you feel indicates how you're going to eat. And in fact, as an eating specialist like myself, I can actually depict how someone's feeling based on the exact foods that they're eating, whether they're looking for self-comfort, whether they're frustrated, whether they're fearful, whether they're worried. Every single food that we reach for has a meaning. So we very much eat who we are. And now at the moment, because of the uncertainty that we're all going through, many people are there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of worry, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of stress. And it doesn't surprise me, as someone who specialises in eating habits, that many people are now starting to struggle with overeating because we're emotionally rooted to food. So therefore, at times of struggle, it's highly common for us to reach towards those foods. So again, this is where we need to look at, well, what can I do to prevent this? First of all, recognise the feelings. Also accepting that the situation is as it is, accepting that what will be, and actually allowing yourself to feel the feelings, because when we suppress feelings, we're also more likely to overeat as well, if that is our coping mechanism. And that is all, wow, there's so many of you on here with me today, hi guys, and that is all overeating is a coping mechanism. However, most of us underlook it because of the fact that it's something that's part of our daily practice. But I can tell you now, for someone who overeats on a high level, for someone who binge eats, this is a highly distressing time for them. In fact, when in isolation, hi Lisa, it's proven that we are more likely to struggle with our eating habits. So if you're finding those feelings are really overwhelming, there are various techniques which I'm not going to go through in this video. Feel free to reach out though, that you can go through. But what I will, as I say, recommend is to go through What can I control right now? What can't I control? What do I need to accept? Well, I need to accept this is the situation. I need to accept what will be will be. And a great way of actually dealing with this is to write these things down and affirm to yourself so that we're putting some new beliefs into our system during this really already stressful time. So you can see already from someone who specialises in eating, it doesn't surprise me right now. People are bored, people are stressed, people are full of anger. Some people are angry, are full of anxiety and worry, and therefore they're reaching towards, foods that maybe they would otherwise avoid. Now, if you are someone who maybe has been prone to overeating in the past and this has really came up for you, what is likely to be happening is that you may have some underlying suppressed emotion. And when we suppress emotion, the more it wants to come out. It's kind of like the more we try not to eat something, the more that we want it. And what we need to do in that situation is we need to address what is going on. And that's why I have a job, because many people struggle with that. But it's about sitting down with yourself and saying, what is it that is really sitting with me? Because like I say, eating challenge has actually got nothing to do with the food, and it's all to do with the feeling. So what am I suppressing? What is it that I need to work on? And use this time to work through, acknowledge and accept. So accept is coming up a lot here. Now, something that's coming up more often than not are the dieters, the people who are real clean dieters who are trying really hard to stick to their strict diets, who would be at the top of my list during a period like this to be struggling with overeating, because they're trying to restrict, they're trying to exercise as much as they can, and all of a sudden all of this is taken away. So now I'm facing boredom. Now I'm facing all these new feelings. Now I'm facing the prospect of home workouts. I don't really like home workouts. I need someone to hold my hand. Now I'm facing the fact that I can't get my hands on all of the clean foods that I'm supposedly supposed to eat. And I'm eating things that maybe I shouldn't eat. And what happens is the diet cultivated mind grows and grows and grows. And diet cultivated mind is a very, very deep subject, and definitely not something I can cover in one video. But again, there are very deep emotions based on your view of food, and it makes perfect sense that while all the other emotions that are coming up for you, that you're going to struggle with that, and you're probably putting extra pressure on yourself. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the more we avoid, the more that we want. And sometimes it's about recognizing maybe this isn't actually the best way for me to do this. So for example, 98% of people who go on a weight loss diet based on restriction end up back where they started and worse within a year to 18 months. So keep that number with you. What I'm trying to say is oftentimes this is going to happen anyway. It just happens to be that this situation where we're isolated, where we are more likely to overeat, where we're more likely to, eat with our emotions on a deeper level, that you're going to struggle with being, the angel eater and keeping everything super clean and super perfect. So these are just a few reasons for what may be going on for you. But the bottom line is, guys, we eat who we are. We are rooted to our emotions. We are designed to be nourished by food. We're not designed to avoid it. So the more we avoid the devil foods at the moment, the more we're going to want it. The more we ignore the fact that we need stimulation, the more likely we're going to be bored, the more likely we're going to want to go and eat those foods. Remember, you can ask yourself while you're overeating, am I hungry? Have I had enough? Can I slow down this process so that I can taste the food? I did a video last week. If you go onto my newsfeed, you should be able to scroll down and find it. And I was talking all about how you can combat binge eating during this period in time. And some of the things I was talking about was how you can eat in awareness, how you can eat better quality foods, and how you can genuinely just take time while you're eating so you can actually taste what you're eating, because these are all small steps that make a big difference. But it's all about asking yourselves questions. Let's open up new neural pathways. Let's ask ourselves, am I hungry? Do I need this? Am I bored? Let's look at the feelings. How am I feeling? Am I avoiding how I feel? Maybe the feelings are becoming overwhelming. Where can I reach out for help so that I can work through these feelings of overwhelm? Because like I say, the overeating is just a byproduct of what lies beneath. And I know I'm starting to get geeky now, so I'm going to scoot off. If you have any questions at all, pop them below or send me a DM. I'm more than happy to help people. From my point of view, of someone who works with people who struggle with overeating and binge eating, it breaks my heart to think that anyone right now is really struggling more than normal because they're in isolation, they don't know how to cope with it. So if I can give you any tips to help you along the way, I am more than happy. Enjoy the day you create and stay safe, folks.